The weather outside the Siegel Center is a little frightful for those traveling to see VCU. Opposing teams will say it's downright brutal trying to get a win against the Rams. Tonight, Samford comes to the Stew in search of their first ever win over VCU. And with that, we say welcome courtside. I'm Sean Roberts, along with former coach Sean Kearney. Great to always work with him. VCU comes back home after a 2-1 trip from the Battle of Atlantis and now have their sights on their most important homestand of the season, Coach.
The next 6 games will be a huge part of what takes them into this season, and it's going to be a game of 2 high up-tempo teams with a lot of offense.
For Samford, they come in having lost 3 of their last 4. Before our player to watch, a guy that has stepped up his game this season is Jaden Booth.
Booth is an elite shooter with long distance range. He's scored over 1,800 points in his career, and he'll look to add to that number tonight.
And now for VCU.
You've got DMV product Nick Lewis, who doesn't play like a freshman. He's a floor leader in every sense of the word, and he brings a tough, physical style to the position. A 2-time Rookie of the Week, and likely more to come.
Coming off a solid performance against Virginia Tech in the Battle of Atlantis, in which he has 7 points and 4 rebounds in the win over the Hokies. Now, for our CarMax keys to the game, starting with Samford.
Yeah, transition defense will be a major part for them. They've got to stop the ball and match up quickly and give up nothing easy. And then on the offensive end, 10-plus made threes helps them in the scoring department and keeps them in the game here in the Stew.
And for VCU?
Yeah, for VCU, they got to guard the ball. Great team defense starts with individual defense on the ball, and they could limit the need for any help or rotations on that end. And then in terms of the offensive end, they got to push the pace. They can be lethal in transition. They'll use their depth to wear down the Bulldogs over 40 minutes.
Those are the CarMax keys to the game. Want to bring home the win with CarMax? Shop confidently online or on the lot with upfront prices and CarMax certified quality on every vehicle. Score your next car at CarMax.com. Want to drive? Go to CarMax. Starting lineups and the opening tip is Samford and VCU. Yours next on Masson and on ESPN+. Back here at the Siegel Center, about to have the starting lineups. And as always, the Red Door guys are proud sponsors of Samford's starting lineup. They can take care of your unwanted property quickly and easily, just like the Rams are about to handle the Bulldogs. Call the Red Door guys at 804-373-7267 or 804-373-RAMS. Samford's starting lineup will be a 4-guard alignment led by our player to watch, Jaden Booth. And for VCU, their starting lineup presented by Steelhead Management, an official partner of VCU Athletics. Steelhead Management providing VCU and Ram fans with the best lineup both on and off the court. Their starting lineup led by our player to watch, Nick Lewis, the reigning Rookie of the Week. 2 times this year, the freshman from DC has been named Player of the Week as Samford has won the opening toss. We have a great officiating crew tonight. Roger Ayers, Ron Groover, and Clarence Armstrong, who tossed it up to begin the game.
I had to look and see if I was in Richmond or Indianapolis at a Final Four.
This is a great crew for a Friday night matchup here at the Siegel Center. Shot clock is down to 5 for Keaton Norris against Nick Lewis. Comes up short. And here comes Jadrian Tracy for VCU, averaging 10.5 points a game. They look inside to Djokovic, getting a touch. Comes up short. Jennings an offensive rebound. Lewis from straight away. Djokovic another chance and a new 20. Jennings in the lane. They got the opportunities, they just couldn't convert.
They did, and it's a good thing as they look to get to the offensive board, but they've got to get back in transition as they give up an easy layup.
Dylan Faulkner, the junior from Calhoun, Georgia. Transfer from Lipscomb, came with Coach Acuff from Lipscomb. Puts the Bulldogs on the board first. Jennings, the assignment against Keaton Norris. Djokovic for 3. Evans an offensive rebound. Evans with the right hand hook and is fouled by Keaton Norris.
Obviously, Coach Acuff goes with a smaller lineup because I think he wants the additional help in the backcourt handling the ball, but obviously you're going to put them at a disadvantage, and it's already shown early with the Rams getting to the offensive glass and creating additional opportunities for themselves.
Not even 2 minutes gone by, and the Rams have 3 offensive rebounds so far.
When we get down here to the other end, it'll be interesting to see how they guard Jaden Booth. I think the first couple possessions, it has been Jennings on him. Watching that Virginia Tech game, Nick Lewis did a great job guarding the shooter from Virginia Tech in that second half.
1 of 2 for Barry Evans, averaging 9.4 points a game this season. The transfer from Bryant. He came along with Coach Martelli Jr. and Keyshawn Mitchell from the Bulldogs organization. And there's Faulkner inside, scoring all 4 of Samford's points.
The ball will move quickly with this group.
Djokovic guarded by Faulkner. Tracy for 3. And Lewis lost it off his hand.
Be interested to see if they put an emphasis on trying to get the ball inside a little bit more and not look at easier or at least quick three-point shots.
Well, something I know Coach Martelli is not liking is the fact that both touches by Faulkner and both baskets have been in the paint, like right now. But he gives it up to Campbell Finch, who drills a 3 from the corner, and a 7-1 start for Samford on the road.
One of the things that helped VCU on the road in Cancun was the start that they got about Virginia Tech, but not happening here.
And another turnover. As Michael Bell, who saw a lot of action in the Battle of Atlantis, will replace Barry Evans early.
Martelli was effusive in his praise for Bell and just wants him to be the best version of himself. He is not quite a three-point shooter, although he can make it, but he's a defender, he's a slasher, plays hard, he's a team guy, and important to this squad.
And a good defender, playing multiple positions. Keaton Norris for 3, and Tracy the rebound. Keaton Norris and Cade Norris, the brothers, in the starting lineup for Samford. Djokovic in tight, and will get 2 free throws.
I think that's something that Coach Martelli wants, to get down the floor quickly and look at opportunities for a Djokovic inside, which they got the ball into him quickly. And selfishly, I think he's got to make that and make this a three-point play. Certainly he was fouled. It was physical. I think the officials may be talking about who that last foul was on. They're going to go to the monitor and make sure that they get it right. And I think that's important for Samford because of their depth.
Yeah, Coach Lenny Acuff was very honest and transparent with us when we talked to him this week about the fact that he may not play a lot of guys due to possibly health and just not having the guys that maybe VCU has, because he basically said VCU can play 10 and play them effectively.
Yes. How awesome was Coach Acuff
He was great
in our prep for this game?
He was great. I mean, he made no bones about it. I will be very transparent, talked about his team and had glowing comments about what Coach Martelli has done with VCU here in the early portion of the year.
Yeah, and especially giving great praise to Ed McLaughlin and the administration for pulling the trigger and getting Phil Martelli Jr. in here and his staff.
So that last foul was credited to Booth, which was his first and the team's second, as Djokovic made 1 of 2 free throws, and it's a 7-2 Samford lead. And they come with pressure as Cade Norris just recognized where the ball was as he crossed half court. Faulkner has it, scored 4 of the 7, and Djokovic comes up with a turnover. Bell has it against Campbell Finch. The mismatch against the 6-foot freshman. Nice pass to Djokovic! And the Serbian Savage rocks the rim for his first field goal.
What a great play by Bell. Backing his man down, knew he had an advantage, dropped it off to his other big for the slam.
Djokovic has 3 of the 4 Rams points as they trail by 3. Campbell, Finch. Faulkner had it, lost it. Tracy has it for VCU, who can tie it with a 3. Off of the Djokovic screen. Bell again against Campbell, Finch. They leave it for Djokovic, who decides to use the dribble against Faulkner. Nice move to the basket, lost it. And Lewis, along with Norris, is tied up. And the arrow will stay with VCU as we come up with a timeout. 15:28 to go in the first half. The Serbian savage, Djokovic, pulls VCU to within 3. There's a good look at VCU's head coach, Phil Martelli Jr. in his first season with the Rams after a great 2-year stint at Bryant, in which he led the Bulldogs to the NCAA tournament last season, and they won 23 games. So far, 5-3, with VCU coming off a 2-1 trip at the Battle of Atlantis and a huge win over Virginia Tech last Friday, won by 18 over the Hokies in that 3rd place contest. Terrence Hill off the inbound, misfires on the 3. Mitchell lost the rebound, got it back inside, then was stripped and fouled by Samford.
Well, the Rams should see a little bit of blood in the water when the shot goes up. Anybody who's not supposed to get back on defense has to get themselves to the offensive glass, and they've got to treat every shot as though it's a missed shot.
So Keyshawn Mitchell getting more time in the VCU rotation with the absence of Christian Furman as he hits the first free throw. A couple of weeks ago, Furman decided to take a leave of absence to tend to a personal matter. And we again send our best wishes to Furman and his family with that situation. But Mitchell has gotten some more minutes and has provided a spark for Coach Martelli.
When you get that opportunity, you have to be ready for it.
Jennings with the assignment on Jaden Booth, who is averaging nearly 19 points this season. Shot clock is at 10 for Cade Norris, fading away, and Mitchell vacuums in the rebound. Barry Evans also in the lineup for VCU with the jump hook that tickles in to tie the game at 7.
You know what's really impressed me about Evans is, for a left-handed player, he is almost equally confident and competent with that right hand.
Here is Norris feeling the double. Jackson Pollard. As we're tied at 7, this is a mini 6-0 run for VCU. Nice crossover by Keaton Norris, and Mitchell with his 2nd rebound. VCU with a chance to take the lead. Mitchell for 3, ring it up. Coming off the bench and has scored 4 of VCU's 10 to lead by 3.
He's looking over at that bench saying, Coach Martelli, put me in more.
Good play there by Hill to cause a deflection. Booth recovers it in the corner. Fades away over Jennings and knocks down the triple.
Well, that's a difficult shot to get off over anybody. And he has the ability to kind of rock back and almost shoot a fadeaway, but from the perimeter, not necessarily even a mid-range.
Only scored 2 in the loss against Utah Valley in the Cancun Challenge, as he's called for his 2nd foul, and we have to see if Coach Acuff will keep him in. He had strep throat coming from Cancun, didn't play in the first game in that classic down in Cancun against Georgia State, played limited against Utah Valley and wasn't himself, but that first shot looked pretty good in the corner.
It looked very good. You look at the numbers that he had in the first couple games, 34, 26, 23. When he's healthy, he's putting up huge numbers.
No slouches against where he put those numbers up, as Mitchell is called for the travel.
You know, one point about, he comes from Florida Southern, Division II. And the bottom line is that there's good players everywhere. I just happened to be around a guy at Colorado who came from a Division II school. He's playing for the Celtics, won a national championship, won an Olympic gold medal. His name is Derek White.
He's a good glue guy, no question.
Good players everywhere.
And Booth put up big numbers when he was at Florida Southern. in Division II. Nice two-man game to Faulkner, and he's fouled by Mitchell.
Well, ball screen defense is going to be huge in this game. So you had a ball screen on the left side of the floor, and that side was empty. So you got to see how the Rams will guard this most of the night. And there was a terrific little pocket pass that put Faulkner to the line. Good catch. He's really skilled. He's bouncy. He's a preseason all-conference player.
Coming in averaging nearly 14 points a game this season. Not the best free throw shooter on the team at just below 50%. As Cade Norris steps out. And Coach Acuff told us point blank he was very happy to get him to join him from Lipscomb to now Samford, because he feels he's a higher level player than what they have in the Southern Conference.
Well, and he also talked about when he broke a foot and he hadn't played for a year and he feels like he's still rusty.
Evans from straight away swishes home a three. He was off for 10 months after breaking his foot and then sprained his ankle in the Cancun Challenge off the jump ball, so he's still trying to get back to being 100%. Campbell Finch penetrates in the lane and has another basket for Samford as they're within one.
Sean, one of our keys was to guard the ball, and that time we did not do a good job guarding the basketball.
Mitchell's feeling it from the wing, and the rebound to Cam Martin for Samford, who can take the lead with a basket. Faulkner works against Mitchell, backs it down against Mitchell and scores off the window. 8 in the first half for Faulkner.
You know, the Bulldogs just go 5 out, and they allowed Faulkner to just drive it from the top of the key, and he backed Mitchell down, shot over him. Bell tried to come over and help, but was a little bit late.
Nice pass inside to Hill, a little strong off the window, and Booth with the rebound and a 3-point lead for the Bulldogs. Faulkner lost his footing, and that's going to be a backcourt on Samford. And that brings us to the under-12 media timeout. Samford on the road have made their last 3 field goals and lead VCU by 3. There's a good look at Samford's head coach, Lenny Acuff, in his first season with the Bulldogs after a long and successful stay not only at Lipscomb, but also at Alabama Huntsville, a Division II power, in which he had went to multiple NCAA Division II tournaments while at Alabama Huntsville. Over 600 career wins for Acuff as Evans comes up short in the lane. Actually, he's close to 650. He's got 647 career wins. Nice fake by Keaton Norris to get Ward in the air and knocks down another jumper as Samford has made their last 4 from the field. Rebound goes to Campbell Finch as Samford leading 18-13 as we're coming up on 10 minutes to go in this first half. Another pocket pass to Faulkner. Campbell Finch throws it to Coach Martelli.
I don't think VCU is guarding quite like Coach Martelli would like at this point. Field goal percentage offense for Samford is at 54%, mostly because they're getting great looks. And then on the other end, I think it's been some quick offensive sets and quick threes by their group.
Rams just 4 of 15 from the field so far, as Samford is on a 6-0 run to lead by 5. Hill fading away and shooting over Keaton Norris for his first basket. Coming off a career-high 21 against Virginia Tech last Friday in the Battle of Atlantis. Cam Martin off the back iron on the 3. Barry Evans with good positioning, misses it, gets his own miss. Misses again, gets a 3rd chance, a 4th chance, and lays it in.
He's doing his Moses Malone impersonation. That's how Moses Malone led the NBA in scoring most years. Wow, great effort by Barry Evans.
The Petersburg legend Moses Malone
Faux, faux, faux. And it was really faux, 5, faux.
That's true. A 1-point Samford lead and a turnover by the Bulldogs. Evans, the lob to Tracy, and too tall for Jadrian, out of bounds.
As a coach, you love how they push the ball, but at the same time, you got to convert. They were about 4-on-1, maybe 4-on-2. They got to make sure they get a great look there and get a bucket.
We were just looking at that Moses Malone imitation by Evans. 3 offensive rebounds on that last trip before that turnover. Padding the stats a little bit now with 8 points and 4 rebounds for the transfer from Bryant.
You are absolutely allowed to be selfish in terms of rebounds.
Oh, no question.
Go get them all.
No question. Keaton Norris guarded by Tracy with the shot clock dwindling down to under 10. Backdoor cut, Cade to Keaton, and out of bounds. It'll go to VCU as the Norris brothers couldn't convert on that pick and roll.
Well, you know, one thing that VCU has to do, they've got to keep guys in front of them. They're getting set up by that back cut, and really Samford should have completed that one and scored an easy layup again.
1-point Samford lead, led by as many as 6 in this first half. Ward from straight away, and they're going to wave it off as Djokovic is called for an offensive foul, setting an illegal screen.
Djokovic did not get set on that. He kind of rolled down the lane and kind of rolled out and took out the defender. So I think that's a good call. Unfortunately, it wipes off a 3.
And Martelli didn't say much on the sideline on that call by Ron Groover. This is Cade Norris, the transfer from Illinois State. Zion Wilburn going up against Djokovic. Got him in the air and lost it out of bounds. And last touch by, looks like, well, Groover pointed to VCU's direction, but now he has a conference with Roger Ayers, and it will stay with Samford.
Wilburn has been a very pleasant surprise for the Bulldogs. Been a really good player for them. Has scored it. I think he's been a little bit inconsistent, and I think they're looking to make sure that he's able to help them on both ends of the floor, as it looks like we may go to a challenge here.
It is a coach's challenge, which is one of the new rules implemented this season. Coach can use a challenge. If he or she is successful in that challenge, you can get a second one, as we will check the replay to see if in fact it is off of Samford or VCU.
It appears from that look as though it went off of Samford. There may have been a little bit of contact, but there was no foul called, and they cannot change a play if there was no foul called on it.
Looks like it's going to stay with Samford. And if that was a coach's challenge, that was the last for Coach Martelli. Roger Ayers is going to come over and
give a timeout, and he lost the challenge.
so that was correct. Coach Martelli challenged it. He lost the challenge and loses a timeout because of that. And Booth steps out of bounds, so that 3-point shot will now count, and a turnover by the Bulldogs.
You know, in terms of challenges, I mean, you've got to be sure. And obviously Coach Martelli and even the staff, you know, felt strongly about it, but you also have to be in a position where you can trust your guys. And you have to know who on your roster can tell the truth and who has never fouled or never had a ball lost out of bounds.
And unfortunately, he trusted the wrong person and lost that coach's challenge. Ward guarded by Campbell Fitch. Ball on the floor. Ward recovered it. Shot clock under 10 for VCU. Bell is called for a travel. 5th turnover for VCU in the first half. Samford has 6.
Yeah, Bell changed his pivot foot up top. Got a little bit happy feet as he went to that right-handed drive, which he's so good at.
Brandon Jennings re-enters the lineup to replace Ward. So VCU will have Lewis, Tracy, Evans, Bell, and Jennings. A smaller lineup for VCU. Bell probably will play the 5 in this setup. Here's Cade Norris guarded by Evans. Fades away and shoots an air ball. Evans, the hot man for VCU with 8, tied for the game high with Faulkner. Jennings, a little 2-man game, the extra pass over to Tracy for 3. And Bell, actually Evans is called for it over the back on a good box out by Keaton Norris. Timeout on the floor with 7:25 to go. Coach Martelli talking to Clarence Armstrong about that last foul in favor of Samford as the Bulldogs lead by 1. 7 1/4 left in the first half, and the Bulldogs on the road leading VCU 18-17, trying to win their first ever game against the Rams. They are 0-3 all time against VCU and lost 2 years ago here at the Siegel Center, 75-65. There's Faulkner inside off a nice pass from Cade Norris, and Michael Bell is whistled for the foul.
Well, as much as Michael Bell is a terrific defender, he had to get ball side, and Faulkner just cut right in front of him to the rim, which forced him into blocking the shot, but also causing the contact and the foul.
This is early on, but Faulkner is showing no ill effects from that sprained ankle in Cancun.
Not at all.
Coach kind of made us laugh a little bit. He said, we're having some bad luck with injuries. Faulkner suffered a sprained ankle on the jump ball of the first game in Cancun. As he sinks both free throws and becomes the first player for either team to be in double figures, as he has 10.
The only thing crazier than getting hurt on the jump ball is getting hurt in warm-ups.
Yeah, I agree. Evans for the tie. And the rebound to Booth.
That makes the Rams 2 for 10 from the three-point line.
Booth lost it in the air as he hit the deck. VCU in transition, down by 3. Jennings for 3. And another good box out, this time Keaton Norris, and they have numbers. Samford with a 3-point lead, led by as many as 6 in this first half. Faulkner on the elbow against Tracy. Faulkner, ball on the floor, gets his own miss, and a chance at a 3-point play.
3 Rams were around the ball, but for some reason, Faulkner was the guy who was able to get there first.
Faulkner with a dozen in the first half in 10 minutes of work. Coming in at 13.8 points per game. He was 11th in the Southern Conference in scoring, led the team in rebounding, which was 12th in the conference, and a turnover by VCU. They have 6, so does Samford. But the Bulldogs lead by 5. They go back to the hot man Faulkner with a dozen. This time against Evans. Lost it in the air. He hits the floor, and they're going to get Bell, I think, with a push. And that's 2 on the junior from England.
Well, as much as the fans don't like the call, I think there was contact when Bell came over hard on that one.
And Faulkner's going to get a breather as he has scored more. He's scored half. Actually, more than half. He's got 12. The team has 22, so he's got more than half of the Bulldogs' point total. Booth from straight away. And Evans climbs the ladder and grabs his 5th rebound. Rams have not scored in over 4 minutes. And a steal by Keaton Norris came from the backside to take it away from Jennings. Here is Cade Norris inside, and he scores. Martelli is saying that A travel was missed there.
Yeah, he may have traveled on the catch, on that two-footed catch in the lane before he shot the layup.
Samford with their largest lead of the first half at 7. Nick Lewis a little wild. And the Bulldogs with the rebound. Inside 5 minutes of this first half, and Samford leading by 7. Keaton Norris blows the layup. Booth with the assignment on Hill. And Jennings is bumped by Cade Norris.
Coach Acuff talked to us about keeping a team at or below 40% field goal percentage defense. Currently, they've got VCU at 25%, so they're doing a good job defensively. I think a little bit of that is VCU helping by not getting great shots on each possession. They are moving the ball, but I don't know. I think they could create some better offense for themselves.
Jordan Tillery, number 14, sees his first action for VCU, the freshman from Orlando and IMG Academy. Hill to the bucket, a strong move.
And that's a good start at improving that 25% field goal percentage.
That snaps a 6-0 Samford run. Booth to Pollard for 3. Mitchell with his 5th rebound of this first half. Jennings in transition, knocks down to 3. 5 straight scored by the sophomore from Portland. Inside 4 minutes to go in the half. Shot clock is under 10. Booth from straight away got fouled on the attempt. As Tillery is called for his first, and Booth will get 3 free throws when we come back, as VCU on Terrence Hill's 3 is within 2 of the Bulldogs. 3:43 left in the first half, and VCU trails 24-22, and something we will be talking about a lot going into the new year, the net rankings, and a strong showing by not only VCU, but the entire A-10 in the net rankings so far.
Yes, a very good early start for the A-10. The first net rankings came out on December 1. And quite honestly, the analytics people will tell you that there isn't a ton of data right now to necessarily have, a great evaluation, but I'd rather look that way than any other way. And, certainly VCU has played a tremendous schedule. The rest of the league has played a good to medium schedule. The Rams have played a very competitive schedule and thus are where they're at. And I think that, the net rankings will play out over the next several months. And really all that matters is where it is near the end of the year.
You saw those 8 teams in the A-10 net rankings. VCU has the strongest strength of schedule. They were in the mid-20s at last check.
It was 26 this morning. And that puts them, I think, the only team under 100, as Samford has gone to a 2-3 zone out of that last timeout.
A missed 3 by Lewis, knocked out last by VCU, and Samford will regain possession with a 5-point lead after Booth's 3 made free throws to get Samford. They've been in this game and has led for a lot of this first half. They've led for almost 14 minutes in this first half.
13 of their 27 attempts have been from the 3-point line.
Campbell Finch again in tight.
Guard the ball. Can you guard the ball? The one thing about Samford is they get you spread out. The court's 45 feet wide. It sure seems like it's about 60 feet wide tonight as the Rams try and guard.
Barry Evans in the continuation motion will go to the line as Cam Martin will get called for the foul. Another new rule in college basketball this year for men and women, the continuation a la the NBA and also the international game.
Yeah, and they really wanted to get a little bit closer. I don't think they'll ever get to the crazy spot that happens sometimes in the NBA, and not that I watch it that much, but it does seem that it will allow the officials to give that one additional step after that gather, even one more pivot, So I think it's important for kids to go ahead and continue their shooting motion to finish the play, and I think the officials are trained to try and slow down on making the call to allow that to happen.
You make a good point about the officials after Evans' 2 made free throws. Now they've got to be retrained with that call now this season.
Well, and I think, you know, the average fan would be amazed at how much work the officials do, both in and out of season, and the training that happens. And, you know, I'm very pro-official with all the work that they do.
Forced turnover by VCU. Here's Tillery in transition against Campbell Finch. Gets his own miss, and the freshman puts in a basket. A 3-point lead for Samford as we're coming up on 2 minutes to go in the half. Nice pass inside from Booth to Faulkner against Mitchell with the jump hook. And Faulkner now with 14 so far to lead Samford. Tillery going right up against Booth. Mitchell, an offensive rebound. Tip was no good by Mitchell, and here comes Booth and Samford. Booth off the Faulkner screen, long on the 3. Tillery gets it back from Lewis, and he's got 5 off the bench. Mitchell comes up with the deflection. Samford recovered it in the backcourt. Campbell Finch for 3. Faulkner an offensive rebound. Keaton Norris for 3 as he hit the deck, no foul. Faulkner an offensive rebound. Ball is loose, recovered by Hill.
Faulkner's exhausted out there.
Hill thought about that 3. Evans was cut off by Campbell Finch. Mitchell for the lead, ring it up. And Coach Acuff recognized what you just said, Coach, and will use a timeout.
You know, this hasn't exactly been a beautiful game on the offensive end for the Rams, but they just have to keep battling, get some buckets around the basket, and then also, because Samford has a little bit of difficulty on the backboard themselves, when they get an offensive rebound, one of the best times to get a 3-point shot is when the ball gets kicked back out.
And Jordan Tillery off the bench, playing in only his 5th game of the season, along with Keyshawn Mitchell, who's getting more time in the rotation. They have scored 12 off the bench for VCU to take a 1-point lead.
That's one of the great things about depth. If a guy's not having a good night, you can go to another option. And I don't think there's any punishment involved. It's just, it's not working. Let me try another guy, give him an opportunity, and if you can run with it, you're going to get more minutes.
And that's what Coach Acuff told us about last night. He praised VCU with the ability to play so many guys and not see a big drop-off when you go deep in the bench.
Sean, I saw this group several times during the summer. I would come up to practice to watch Coach Martelli. And what I've seen over time, and I was also here for the Fairfield exhibition, that they just kind of improved a little bit every 2 weeks. And the other thing was, I wasn't sure how he and the staff would decide necessarily who to get the most minutes, because there is so much talent on this roster. And I think he's done a masterful job against a very difficult schedule, and yet that's going to continue to develop over time.
That was the biggest thing that Coach Martelli said he had to work with, because at Bryant he felt he could only play 8 guys regularly. He said he could play 10 with no question. Shot clock is under 10 for Samford. Here is Booth, and he's fouled by Lewis. And that'll send the team's leading scorer to the line for a 1-and-1.
This is a huge challenge to guard the Samford Bulldogs in the half court. They move, they cut hard, they pass the ball, and they pass it quickly. You know, in some ways, you know, in the old days, we talked about Princeton offense, and the final would be 40-38. This is Princeton on steroids, or Princeton just magnified by 100. They move the ball, they throw the ball ahead as well as any team. I think VCU does the same thing. But then in the half court, they're skilled. It's a really good group, and they play well together.
A front end of a 1-and-1 miss for a guy that shoots 90% from the line this season. Shot clock is off with under 10 to go. Here's Lewis driving and fouled by Wilburn. With 1.6 seconds to go in the half.
Hill drove the lane. He had a wide open lane. I think it was either deflected or he lost the ball. Luckily, it went into Lewis's hands, and he came in hard to try and finish it. I'm so impressed with Lewis's physicalness. And that was a good call. That foul on Wilburn, who tried to get in there and get a clean block.
The reigning Rookie of the Week in the A-10. He's won that award twice this season. He averaged over 11 points in Atlantis, shot 39% from 3 in those 3 games against top competition, South Florida, Vanderbilt, and against Virginia Tech, as Lewis hits both.
Replacing Terrence Hill Jr. is number 2,
1.6 seconds to go. VCU leads 34-31. And Coach Acuff said, don't even attempt the shot. First half comes to a close. Coach said it wasn't pretty, it was entertaining. And for the most part, Samford stayed in it and led most of the first half, but a late surge, an 8-0 run over the final 90 seconds gives VCU a 3-point lead going into halftime, where TJ takes us to after the break. About to start the second half here at the Siegel Center. VCU with a 34-31 lead over Samford. Sean Robertson along with the coach Sean Kearney and our entire crew here in Richmond. The other guys stepping up, Coach, in the first half with Hill, Mitchell, and Tillery combining to score 19, while the starters had just 15, and they led the way for VCU in the first 20 minutes.
Well, I think especially the impact that both Mitchell and Tillery had. You know, Hill has been a bit of a stalwart all season long, but you get that effort from Mitchell and Tillery, at least on the scoring end, that helps you stay within reach of this team, and hopefully they can do it defensively and offensively and take this thing towards the end of that 20-minute period.
And what was not shown was the 6 rebounds that Mitchell also gave Coach Martelli off the bench. Second half begins for Faulkner inside. Gets his own miss as he took it away from Djokovic, and it was last touch by Tracy. Starting 5 for both teams to include Djokovic, who only played 8 minutes in the first half because Mitchell was having it going. And Coach Martelli didn't want to take him out. Faulkner led all scores with 14 in the first half. Nice pass by Campbell Finch to Faulkner.
That was a great drive. Campbell Finch really impresses you. He doesn't play like a freshman, much like Nick Lewis for the Rams.
A scintillating pass by Campbell Finch, his first assist of the night. Evans in the lane, and Faulkner clears for the 5th time. Booth off the Faulkner screen, a little 2-man game, and good play by Jennings, not for it to be a layup.
You would think with the size advantage that VCU would have an advantage in points in the paint, and they do not. Right now it's 18 Samford, 12 VCU.
And a foul on Nick Lewis. That's a bad matchup for VCU when you got 6'1" Nick Lewis going up against the 6'9" Dylan Faulkner.
I think that was a switch, but then Lewis has to get around in front of Faulkner.
Here's Faulkner going up against Djokovic. Fades away and doesn't get the roll. Rams up by 1 as we just started the second half. Tracy with the finger roll. Gets his own miss inside and is fouled. Almost trying to do a Barry Evans like he did in the first half.
It's interesting how the Rams are guarding the big Faulkner on the other end of the floor. They are chosen not to double down and give help. And the reason for that is the such efficient, effective three-point shooting that the Bulldogs have. And they don't want to give up threes, and they're going to live with Faulkner trying to score inside, which he's very capable of. But as you saw in that first half, at times he was exhausted because he's exerting so much energy.
Tracy, a 67% shooter this season from the line. A second-team preseason A-10 selection, makes 1 of 2 for his first point this evening. And now they come with pressure in the backcourt. Pass was deflected, stolen by Jennings. Here's Tracy on the drive. It counts on the foul.
That is a big-time drive from in front of the VCU bench. Tracy saw defenders in front of him, and he did not care.
Against 2 would-be defenders, no hesitation for Jadrian Tracy. And maybe there's something that can light a fire in this VCU crowd. It's been a little subdued in the first half as now Roger Ayers has gone over to talk to not only Coach Martello, but he also spoke to Barry Evans as well.
Not sure what that was, but you know, one of the things, and I think most officials do this, but certainly this professional crew, is they talk to players and they try and avoid situations to keep a guy out of foul trouble or whatever the situation might be. The very best ones do that, and certainly this group has all of that and more.
Ayers and Groover have officiated Final Four and national championships, and now a timeout is called by Keaton Norris. That's the second time he saw that pressure. This time he used the timeout, and it will be a full timeout at the 18:08 mark here in the second half, and VCU with a 4-point lead. There's a good shot of Brandon Jennings, the Richmond native that Coach Martelli said epitomizes what it is to be a VCU student athlete.
So awesome to have a local product on the roster. I know that's important for the Rams over the years.
This time, after the timeout, Samford was able to break the press, but now they only have about 10 seconds to work with to get a good shot. They look inside to Faulkner, and he's fouled by Djokovic.
Now that's a little set that Samford often runs. It's a little shuffle cut, and when the guard goes off of the big into the lane, they then throw back to the same side it came from and then set an up screen for Faulkner into the post. That's what happened. Defense was out of position. They were forced to foul.
And they send Faulkner back to the line, where he's now 5 of 6 from the charity stripe. And Djokovic, who has really not been in a rhythm tonight, will take a seat for Mitchell, who in the first half, 7 points and 6 rebounds in 10 minutes of work. Faulkner with 18 in the game, and the VCU lead is at 2. Tracy, the switch by Campbell Finch. Lewis for 3. And the foul called by Clarence Armstrong. They'll keep it here on VCU's side. And Keaton Norris is called for his 3rd.
VCU has continued to attack the offensive glass. And it helps them, and they need to keep doing it.
Both teams with 3 team fouls in the second half. Samford playing some man right now. They play some zone late in the first half against VCU. Jennings working against Booth, and he's getting an opportunity for a three-point play.
Sean, one of the things that has impressed me about this group from the summertime and through the times I've attended practice and then into their exhibition game and watching their games in prep for this one is the physicality and the strength of most of their roster, and certainly guys on the perimeter. A 6-foot guard with shoulders and arms, and these guys are tough and get themselves to the rim as they continue pressure.
Jennings gives VCU a 5-point lead on that three-point play. Booth committed his 3rd foul for Samford, and he has it against the aforementioned Jennings. Tried to throw it to Faulkner, and he threw it over his head.
I think they're still trying to figure out that ball screen defense. So very hard to guard a ball screen in the middle of the floor. That's why it's set there. And Samford has been trying to throw over the top. That time it was not completed.
9 turnovers for the Bulldogs in the game as they trail by 5. Tracy, the mismatch on Campbell Finch. Ball is tipped, gets it back on the deflection. Hill, a deep 3, ring it up. 10 off the bench for Terrence Hill, and is VCU's largest lead, coach, at 8.
Martelli has said they do not want Hill to pass up any shots. Nobody on the roster, coaching staff, in the locker room. Hill's got to keep shooting.
Tracy will shoot for 3. And Coach Acuff will use another timeout. It'll be a 30. It's a 9-0 VCU run, and it's their largest lead of the game at 11.
It can happen so very quickly, whether it's in transition or whether it's from the three-point line. This is a very potent offense when they've got it rolling.
VCU up 11. Right now, a difference in the offensive game of VCU as they're in the midst of a 9-0 run over the last minute to increase their lead to 11 over Samford, 46-35. Sean Robertson, the coach Sean Kearney, and our entire crew here at the Siegel Center. Samford trying to break this drought, trailing by 11, and a good play by Mitchell. Turnover number 10 for Samford, and turnover number 8 for VCU as it was committed by Tracy.
Tracy went down that left wing. He went to spin dribble. He just lost that one out of bounds.
And Jordan Tillery comes back in. He provided a punch for Coach Martelli off the bench in the first half as he scored 5 points in 5 minutes. And kind of pushed VCU to the lead late in the first half. Samford in a scoring drought of over 2 minutes as they trail by 11. Jackson Pollard in, leaves it for Booth. The switch by Mitchell. Shot clock is under 10. And a reach-in called on VCU.
It was an aggressive defensive play by Hill, but at the same time, unnecessary. I think we had him under control, and a last-minute reach caused that foul.
Hill's first foul, the 4th, committed by the Rams in the half. A new 20 for Samford as they trail by 11. Booth guarded by Tillery. The step back, it's a long 2, and the rebound squeezed in by Hill as the drought continues for Samford. Hill, another deep 3. Long rebound to Tracy. Mitchell thought about it, put the ball on the deck. Hill with a little hesitation, plus the foul.
Mitchell thought about taking that three, found his teammate. Hill with a little bit of hesitation dribble, got to the right side of the rim, took contact and finished it.
Jackson Pollard called for his second foul. It's an 11-0 run for VCU and a 14-4 spurt to begin the half, which was once a 3-point lead, is now at 13 for the Rams.
Samford has countered with a second big. Faulkner came back in and took out one of the perimeter players. So you've got Pollard and Faulkner playing together with this lineup. VCU has been switching 1 through 5 and has done a better job in the half court, along with this full court pressure that you see.
A dangerous inbounds pass to Keaton Norris, who is now seeing again more pressure. Samford breaks it, and scoring is Cam Martin to break the 12-0 run. That was Stanford's first basket in nearly 3.5 minutes. Here's Tillery against Booth. And Faulkner the rebound, his 7th of the night. Booth for 3 over Mitchell. Check it over Tillery. And Mitchell with his 7th rebound. Nice move by Hill. Leaves it for Tillery for 3.
Sometimes you're rewarded by the basketball gods. He split that ball screen and found his teammate in the corner. It's beautiful offense.
Another rebound squeezed in by Mitchell. Samford is shooting just 2 for 13 from 3 tonight.
There may have been a little discussion about half-court defense in the locker room at halftime.
Might be right. Here's Bell inside. They're taking advantage of the mismatches defensively by Samford. A 17-2 VCU run over the last 4 minutes. Could have been called for an offensive foul. They leave Martin open in the corner. And Mitchell another board. He is cleaning the glass tonight for the Rams.
Mitchell's doing a Rodman.
He sure is. Here's Mitchell inside, plus the foul. What did you say earlier about rewarding your teammates?
Especially the big guys. Perimeter guys often get the shots. You got to make sure you're taking care of the big guys.
Tillery caught in no man's land on the baseline. Found Mitchell filling the lane and reward the big fella. 9 and 9 here tonight. Couldn't complete the 3-point play. This is his best game so far for Keyshawn Mitchell, the 6'11 junior from out of Brooklyn. Here's Faulkner inside. Gets his own miss, and this time the layup is good over Mitchell. That breaks a 7-0 run for VCU as they lead by 15.
After that made basket, the Bulldogs come back into a 2-3 zone.
Lewis, Tillery, Hill, Bell in the lane.
Talk about starring in your role. Michael Bell catches in the middle of the lane, mid-post. He's got that little 10-footer, which he's really good at.
Good patience by VCU offensively on that trip. Keaton Norris, tough shot over Mitchell. Only his second made field goal for a man that averages just a shade over 12 a night. Hill for distance. Bell taps it back to Hill in a new 20. Mitchell for 3. And Tillery caused a jump ball, but they said he stepped on the baseline and turns it over, and it brings us to a timeout. Good hustle by VCU, as right now they've outscored Samford 24-10 to lead by 17. All right, let's take a look at our Carter Catwalk fan cam here at the Stew. Young and old alike loving what they're seeing from their Rams in the second half as they're up 58-41. This game was a 3-point advantage for VCU at the break, Coach, but they have outscored Samford 24-10. How have they been able to do that?
Well, I tell you, most of it's been on the defensive end, but they've also been attacking the glass. And in terms of that, they've also played inside out, again, almost causing another turnover here for a score.
Jackson Pollard inside, blocked by Bell, gets his zone miss with the reverse, and it comes up empty. Evans clears. Pollard with 2 cracks in tight for Samford and couldn't score. An illegal screen set by Lewis. Offensive foul on the Rams. 3 on him and the 5th on VCU.
There was so much movement, especially around the 3-point line. Ball screens, faking a ball screen, and sometimes collisions happen, and it's an offensive foul in that situation.
Jackson Pollard, the nephew of former NBA and Kansas great Scott Pollard.
And one of 2 married Bulldogs as he drops in a layup.
That's right. His first field goal of the night. Jaden Booth, the other married Bulldog, who is also on the floor with his teammate.
How about this? Pollard played for a coach named Rob Ross at Lone Peak High School in Utah. I coached Rob Ross at Northwestern.
Wow.
The basketball community can be a small place.
Yes, it is. Evans kept that alive for VCU for Tillery. Going right up against Pollard as he hit the floor hard. Pollard claims a miss. Pollard looked like, actually, Tillery looked like he hit his elbow as Keaton Norris misses on the 3. Bell the rebound and a Samford foul. Cade Norris picks up his 2nd. And now a 1-and-1 opportunity. Free throws will be shot by VCU on every foul the rest of the night.
Well, I think this is part of the worry that Coach Acuff had about depth and about being worn down, because that's what this VCU group is doing to the Bulldogs in blue tonight.
Bell misses the front end of a 1-and-1. That's what Coach Acuff mentioned to us, that a big concern for him was going to be VCU's depth and how well they can score deep down the bench. Tracy has the assignment on Cade Norris. Pollard had it stripped away by Bell. And last touch by the Englishman.
Samford loves to run a little set where they enter the ball side in front of their bench and then get a hard back cut from this opposite wing. Or Pollard can just catch and shoot.
Shot an air ball, and up ahead is Tracy, who rocks the rim. He's a basket away from a double-double. He already has 10 rebounds tonight. That was his 8th point. Inside 9 minutes. Keaton Norris against Tracy. And a tough layup that went in and out. And Tracy has 11th rebound tonight.
I also think Tracy may have gotten a piece of that.
Here is Hill with the left hand as he hit the floor. And we've got a foul on VCU. They're going to call Barry Evans with his 2nd.
Faulkner comes back to replace Pollard. Wilbert comes into the game to replace Keaton Norris.
Those guys have played and logged a lot of minutes. Norris played 26 minutes tonight. Booth 27 minutes, and he's still on the floor as Cade Norris had it blocked by Bell and was also fouled. That's going to go against Terrence Hill, and that will be the Rams' 7th team foul of this half. So both teams will be shooting free throws the rest of the night.
Sean, one of the things that happens in scheduling is teams at lower to middle programs will play a guarantee, or what we call a bye game. Samford has done quite a bit of that to help both their athletic department and their own program. And it's great competition, but it also can be a little bit grueling. And they have not played a lot of home games to date. But at the same time, even though grueling, it will help prepare them for the SoCon, where they were a preseason number 3 pick and should be a terrific squad throughout the conference season there.
They started the season, 8 of their first 10 are on the road as Jennings hits the 3.
Well, Booth gave him too much room to get that 3 off with his feet set.
Samford, this is, I think, their 8th game in nearly 3 weeks. It's like a 16-day span that they've played 8 games so far, to include the trip to Cancun last weekend. Cade Norris from the corner. Long rebound chased down by Jennings. Jennings attacks to the rim and is fouled. And that brings us to another timeout. Jennings will shoot 2 free throws when we come back as VCU leads by 18. Now it's time for our Southern Virginia Ford drive of the game. And it's Jadrian Tracy rocking the rim, Coach.
When you change sides of the floor, you've got to get out and sprint, and that's exactly what Tracy did when he saw that ball in possession by his teammate. Got out and ran. Evans with the beautiful throw ahead. Tracy with the strong finish.
Easiest shot he made tonight. And Brandon Jennings with 2 attempts at the line, an 86% shooter this season from the charity stripe, as he now has 7 in the game, and it's a 19-point VCU lead, matching their largest of the evening.
Field goal percentage defense for the Rams right now at 34%. At 40 or anything under is a very good job. So they're doing overall. First half wasn't pretty. Second half's been fabulous.
And that just amplifies their adjusted defensive efficiency, which is 18th in the country. Booth was thinking about hoisting up that 3. Shot clock is under 10 for Campbell Finch, again playing large for Samford.
Wow, how impressive is Campbell Finch for a young guy? No fear in that guy.
He scored 12 against Utah Valley in the Cancun Challenge last week. He's got 9 so far. Michael Bell will get a chance at a 3-point play.
So you want to attack the zone either by the dribble or by the pass. They got the ball inside to the mid post or high post. Bell with a hard cut to the rim, catches, hit, fouled, finishes.
Best spot to me, Evans was right where he was, right mid post or in the lane area to attract the defense.
Yeah, you want to get into that high post area because that's a great place to catch. Usually you teach bigs to look opposite to your post player or look opposite to a perimeter player for an open 3. On that case, Bell had cut hard, and it was a beautiful offensive play.
VCU couldn't capitalize on what would have been a 4 or 5 point trip as they committed their 10th turnover of the night. Faulkner back in for Samford as they trail by 20. The skip pass to Cade Norris. Booth steps into a 3. He has been ice cold tonight, and we've got a foul called by Ron Groover. And that's going to go against Brandon Jennings. His second, and now a 1-and-1 for VCU. That's the 8th team foul committed by the Rams.
The thing about guarding a guy like Booth, and the Rams have done a fabulous job of it tonight. He is 1 for 9 from the field, 1 for 7 from 3. There's been an emphasis on him, a team awareness, and they've done a fabulous job with him. I also think that they went to switching positions 1 through 5 and have done a better job on the perimeter and done a good job of fronting Faulkner in the low post.
Booth came in shooting 40% from 3 before this night as another turnover committed by VCU. He was 32 of 80 from 3, which was near the top in the Southern League. And as you mentioned, Coach, just 1 for 7 and really has not seen a good look all night.
And they've done a good job on the catch of making him put the ball on the floor. And I think he's an elite shooter when he catches it. He's probably only an excellent shooter when he puts it on the floor. But it makes a difference. It absolutely makes a difference.
And the other thing, we talked about this earlier before we came on tonight, the length of VCU, the different looks they can show Booth defensively is probably giving them fits. Nice drop ahead to Faulkner by Campbell Finch and a chance at a three-point play.
Boy, how about that pair? And then Faulkner finishes it.
Faulkner has played well tonight for Samford, as has Campbell Finch.
And imagine, as Coach Acuff talked about, not having the players that they were missing for certain games. They've almost never been full strength. I think everybody's playing tonight.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're at 100% each of them. As Bornstad gets a rebound, he comes in off the bench to help.
They were down their top 4 scorers when they went to Cancun last week, and when Booth played against Utah Valley, he was still dealing with the effects of strep.
Pollard has had a broken nose.
Yep. Faulkner with the sprained ankle, and he's got a butterfly bandage above his left eye. Shot clock is at 10 for Hill, who shot that from the Moda Center in Portland.
Hill may look over here and say, stop talking about Booth. I'm the best shooter in the building.
He might have a point there. He's 3 of 6. He's looking for another one. Ring it up. And Coach Acuff calls a timeout. That's 19 scored by Terrence Hill off the bench. 2 shy of his career high he set against Virginia Tech last Friday.
4 for 7 from 3. And Martelli talked about it earlier this week in a press conference. Like, he's got to take shots for them. And sometimes a difficult shot from him is a better shot than what some of his teammates may take throughout the course of a game.
When you're a shooter and a coach tells you, I don't want you to pass up the shot, you heed his advice.
All I can say is I never had a coach say that to me.
Did you say that to a player?
Yes. I was fortunate to coach at the University of Notre Dame, and we had guys who could make shots. Kyle McElharney, Colin Falls.
Oh, yeah.
Colin Falls broke the Big East scoring record, or at least made threes. Chris Quinn, we had guys who could make shots. It was fun to play.
His range now was probably as soon as he steps foot inside the Siegel Center, as now he's come off the bench to lead the Rams in scoring with 19 on 7 of 12 shooting in 22 minutes.
And how about the luxury of bringing him off the bench?
That's a 6th man. And Coach Martelli also said in the presser, this is a role he's beginning to relish, and he could make a strong case for 6th man of the year once we get into conference play.
Well, and you also have to understand the maturity of a guy who is a sophomore, playing well, performing, and he's still comfortable coming off the bench. I know it's 80s night.
Yes.
Did Vinnie Johnson, the microwave, play in the 80s?
Wow, yes he did. Part of the bad boy Detroit Pistons, who won 2 world championships, and they're gonna get a foul on Hill and not the turnover that the Rams were hoping for. Yeah, those back-to-back champions beat my Lakers in 89 without Magic and Byron, I might add, so that should be an asterisk beside that one in that sweep, but a sweep is a sweep nonetheless. Campbell Finch at the line played well, not only against Utah Valley, but I had a chance to watch that New Mexico State game. He put up 16 against New Mexico State in a losing effort.
Well, no matter what the final score is here, I think Coach Acuff and staff has to feel good about the performances of some of their guys off the bench. And I do know that they go back home to Birmingham and play Cornell.
Yep, Cornell on Sunday. That will start a 3-game homestand, so they'll get an opportunity to get familiarized or refamiliarized with the home crowd. They'll play Cornell on Sunday, then finals. Then they'll play at home to Bryant and Reinhardt on February 19th before the Christmas break. And then conference play begins on New Year's Day for them. Tracy for 3. Saved by Zion Wilburn, the sophomore from Richmond, California. Ball on the floor, saved by Samford. As we're inside money time in the second half for Booth and the Bulldogs, who trail 73-50. Campbell Fitch falling away. Tillery almost tipped that back in. Here is Tillery in the lane against Campbell Fitch. Hill will hoist it up, ring it up. He is a flamethrower tonight. And a pretty move on the other end by Wilburn, and another foul called on VCU. And that's going to be on Hill, who has entered the danger zone as he picked up his 4th foul. That last basket, Coach, eclipsed his career high that he hit a week ago.
Yeah, that's a fabulous performance by Hill so far, and we still have 4 minutes left.
Never know, he get consideration for A-10 Player of the Week for what he's done the last couple games.
So, Sean, you know I used to work at the Atlantic 10 office.
Associate Commissioner.
I used to be a part of that selection of Player of the Week, Rookie of the Week.
Oh, really?
Yes.
So if he was on that committee, is he in the discussion?
Absolutely would be, based on this performance. And it goes week to week, so.
Alley-oop. That was denied by Will Shaver, who just checked in and draws a foul. And that brings us to our final timeout as Keyshawn Mitchell will go to the free throw line to shoot 2 with VCU at 25. This is when you know you have made it big. The Fish and Pig is proud to sponsor the VCU Peppers. From savory barbecue to delicious seafood, they're bringing the flavor while the Peppers bring the energy, because nobody parties like the Pig.
That is big time.
You know you made it when the band is now sponsored. Next thing you know, the crew should be sponsored.
And the very first sponsor was probably Paulie and Rocky when he came out in that first one. It wasn't the 80s, but it was about 76.
Yes, it was.
Somebody told me.
VCU well on their way to winning their 4th straight at home this season, as Will Shaver gets it inside with 10 to shoot. As Samford will work it around back to Schaefer with 5 to shoot. Cade Norris for 3. Long rebound chased down by Mitchell. He's got numbers. Tillery to Tracy with the alley-oop. Who just recorded a double-double.
Sean, we've got a great crowd tonight. If fans are out there watching and you have not seen this team in person yet, you better get to the website and check on tickets for future games. This is an exciting team to watch.
That's something that Coach Martelli implored Ram Nation to come out and support this team, as Tracy, actually Hill, a rare miss from distance tonight. Here's Cade Norris in the lane and drops in his 6th point. But this is going to be a good team. With the score may not indicate it, but this is going to be a good team, Samford, in the Southern Conference this year.
Yeah, I'm actually looking forward to following this group and Coach Acuff and his his staff, and what they continue to do, because offensively, they're fabulous. What their interest is going to be is how well they can guard, and certainly can they develop that depth that he has talked about.
And that athleticism was shown tonight for VCU. Tillery, the nice assist to Tracy for the finish. Maybe drawn up by Coach Martelli's dad.
It may have been. And, you know, I know I told you before.
Tillery with a great block.
Coach Martelli Sr. was an assistant coach at my high school my senior year. And he's had a huge impact on my coaching career, certainly as a young man. Worked camps with him all through college. And I'm certainly not the only one he's ever helped, but I've known the family a long time. You know, and the crazy thing is, as much success they've all had, his wife, Judy Mara Martelli, has more national championships than any of them at Immaculata College, where they won the 3 first women's basketball championships.
She can hang that over
always
on the family at every holiday meal. VCU with a 24-point lead as we're coming up on a minute to go, as Ahmad Noel gets into the scoring column with his first basket. Cam Martin trying to shoot over Ward, comes up long, and Mitchell with his double-double. He's got 11 rebounds to go along with 10 points. And we got a few seconds. I know you wanted to say some words about Bernadette McGlade, who's going to announce, or actually has announced, her retirement at the end of the academic year, as Tillery again to the basket as he reached double figures with 10.
Yes, Commissioner McGlade has announced her retirement at the end of the academic year. 17 years. Nobody cared more about the Atlantic 10. Nobody cared more about basketball in the Atlantic 10. So I congratulate Commissioner McGlade on a fine, fine career.
Caleb Harrison scores for the first time tonight, and I don't think VCU will take another shot. Happy holidays to Roger Ayers and the great crew tonight, Ron Groover and also Clarence Armstrong, who wanted me to say hello to all of his friends and family in the DMV. He said it was an opportunity to be on Masson. It was a great chance to officiate a game on Masson, because he grew up watching that when he was playing in his playing days. As the clock hits 0 on another VCU win at home, as they take it 83-57. The score shows 26-point difference, much closer than the score indicated. Good showing by Samford, and they're going to do very well, we believe, in the Southern Conference. We'll talk more about it on the other side as VCU wins it 83-57.